Yo, what is up everyone? So I made this form in React and I wanted to show you how I did it. It includes simple form validation and this is just front end. So if you want to add back end and all this crazy fancy stuff to it, then feel free to refactor the code after. But pretty much you can see here, if I were to go in and sign up, it's going to ask me to fill in the required information. So I'll be like, here, I'll add my name here. And then for the email, let me just put like a random email just to show you. And then I'll say email address is invalid. So let's just say, I misspelled my name, but I'll just put that for now. And then if I hit sign up there, that one decides to go through. And then if I do like 1, 2, 3, it's gonna say it needs to be more 6 characters or more. So I'll just do 1, 2, 3 again. And then here, I'll do the same thing, but I'll add an extra number just so that they don't match. And then I'll hit sign up and I'll say that they do not match. And then I'll backspace it. Hit sign up, and then I got the little fancy little astronaut character right here, and it says that we received your request, and then I'll just refresh the page here. So it's super simple, just front end, but if you want to see how I created this, then let's go hop into VS Code and let me show you how I made it. All right, so now I have my terminal opened up, so I'm gonna go ahead and type in npx create-react-app, and then I'm just gonna call this React form, and then it should be v1, and then I'll just put -YT for YouTube, and then you can name whatever you want to, and then I'm gonna go ahead and press enter, and then once this finishes loading, I will see you on the other side. All right, so mine finished, so I'm just go ahead and cd into the new file, so cd react-form-v1-yt, and then I'm gonna go ahead and say code dot so I can open up VS Code. If you don't have that installed, just do a quick Google search. It'll show you how to set it up. And then once you do, you can just type it in and it automatically opens up VS Code for us. So let me just drag this over here. And then let's go ahead and let's do on the keyboard Command J, and it opens up the terminal. And then what I want to do is I'm going to type in, I have yarn. So if you go back, you don't have yarn. Whatever just says here is probably going to say npm start if you don't have yarn. So you can just type in either yarn or npm, and I'm going to say start. And then I'm going to press enter. It's most likely going to show me an error. So if you do have this error, then just copy this little word right here. Go to the right, create a new file. And it has to be .env. Then I'm going to just paste that in there, save it. And then I go back, press the up arrow to bring back what I just typed. Yarn start again. And it should go. So if you don't have that error, and I already have the app open, so I'm going to just type Y. So pretty much now we have the beautiful React logo. So we have everything loading properly. That's good. So let me just bring this to the side here. All right, so let me exit off this, exit off here. And then I'm going to go into the SRC now. And let's get rid of these 3 files right here. So setup test, service worker, and then logo. So let's just click on that, setup test. I'm going to hold shift, click on logo. So like all 3 of them, delete. So right click, delete, move to trash. Index.css, we can delete that. And then also app.test.js, we can delete that as well. Index, let's get rid of this little code right here. Click on the 5 here, it automatically selects the whole line. Let's get rid of that line here. Index.css, get rid of that here. And then Command S will save it. And then in here, we just go to number 2, click it, deletes this line for logo SVG. And then let's just go inside the div, delete everything, and then just be like, yo, save. Awesome, now we are good to go. So now let's go ahead and let's just create all of our files. So I'm gonna go ahead and right click SRC, new file, and then I'm gonna go ahead and call this one form.js. And I'm gonna create a form, and it's gonna hold both the sign up and then also the success page. And then let's create a new file. Let's call this one form signup.js. And this is going to be our input where you type in like the name, password, everything. And let's create another file. Let's call this one form success.js. And you can name this whatever you want to. And then this one essentially is the little logo we saw after I submitted it that said we received your request. And then I want to create a, let's see, form.css. So let's go new file, say form.css. And then for now, let's just keep it there. And let's just start editing some code here. So form sign up Now I have this little extension that saves my life. So go over to this icon, type in ES7, and download this one right here by DS Nader. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Pretty much this one right here, 1.7 mil when I'm filming this. And this basically allows you to type in React code super quickly. So right now we're gonna import an arrow function and export at the same time by typing in RFACE, press enter, boom. So now we have the import React, the arrow function const form sign up, and also exports it. So now you don't have to type that in anymore. And then let's just put in here for now, let's just say sign up just for filler. Let's save that. And then let's go to our form. Let's do the exact same thing, RFACE, enter, boom. And then I want to go in here and just do the opening tag, and let's just import the form sign up. And a cool little trick is if you press enter right here before finishing it off, it should auto import it. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. If it didn't work for you, I can like delete this really quick just to show you a little other hack. Is you can go to the end of it and then control space will load it up, and then you press enter and boom, just like magic, it's there again. And then let's just put a closing tag, save it here. And now we can't see anything because we need to go to app.js and let's change h1. Let's input the form now, enter, so it auto imports there. Close it off, save it, boom. Now we have sign up. So awesome, we got everything set up. So now go back to the form sign up component, and let's go ahead and start adding in some code. So let's go ahead and let's delete all of this code for you right now inside of it. And in the return, let's just go ahead and let's just start coding out the JSX. So I'm gonna say dot class name, not class name, my bad, dot form content dash right. I'm gonna press tab, and then it automatically adds it in for me. If not, just add a div with the class name of form content right. And then I'm gonna add a form with the class of form. And then let's get rid of the action. And then let's go inside the form. And then let's do H1. Let's press tab. Let's just say get started with us today. And then create your account by filling out the information below. So this is just the text we saw above the input forms. And then underneath this H1, I want to create another div with the class name form input. So dot form dash inputs, press tab. Inside of here, I want to create the label now. So let's do label dot form dash label. And again, you can name your class names whatever you want to, but it doesn't really matter. And then let's just keep it. Technically, you can just say this for the username for now. It doesn't really matter for this. This is just a little mini project, but again, you can get fancy with it. And then inside of the label, let's do input dot form dash input. Press tab. And then in the type, I want it to be text. I want the name equal to quotes username. And then let's see. Let me save this really quick. And let me put this all on the separate line so you can see it much easier. And let's just expand that really quick. And then under here, inside the input, I want to add the placeholder. So that equal to enter your username. And then we're going to add values and an onChange function onto here. But for now, let's just keep it like this for now, and then we can get it fancy later. And then pretty much what we're gonna do is just rinse and repeat and copy this exact code here. So basically this div down to, see where it ends right here. Let's go ahead and copy this, press enter, and then paste. And then now we want this to be the, not username, we want this to be the email now. So let's change the type to email. Name is going to be email, and then enter your email right there. And then in the label, I forgot to add something in the label. So the form label ends right here. And I don't know why I shouldn't have put the label, I should have put the input outside the label. Why did I do that? Right, so basically Command X this, and that should be under the label. So in the label, this should say name or username. And then same thing here, this input should be outside the label. So there should be email. So save it now, and boom, it should be like this. So this is pretty much a label here, and then the inputs, username, email, enter email, same thing here. So now if I were to go ahead and just click on the label, you notice it doesn't auto select the form. So if we could do here and set an ID equal to username, and I save that, and I click it, now it auto highlights it. You can keep that if you don't. You can leave it out for now, but let me just add that in here. So input, let's change the ID to email. Also HTML4, yeah, let's keep the email there. And boom, okay. So that's just a little extra stuff I want to add here. And then we're pretty much gonna copy and paste that 2 more times, and that's just for the passwords. So basically go back to here. Let's take this div, and then boom, 1, under that div 2, change all of this. So a little cool trick is highlight email. I'm gonna do Command D, selects everything that matches the word that has email in it, even the uppercase one you can see there. And I'm just gonna change this to password, and then I just want to make sure the label is called capital P password, and then please enter your password here. And if I save that, you can see it's like this. And then same thing for the second one. I'm just gonna Command D, select them here, and just call that password 2. And it looks like I didn't select this one, so let's just call this confirm password, save it, and then let's just say ID. Yeah, it should be good. So we're clicking them all here, boom. All right, so pretty much the main size of it. And then next go underneath this div here, and let's add our button. So let's do button dot form dash input dash btn, and then inside of this button I want it to be a type equal to submit. And then for the text, I just wanted to say sign up, save that here. And then the last one I just want to add is like a little text at the bottom to be a span. And then let's do dot form dash input login here, press tab, inside just say already have an account, log in, ahref equals to, just put a hash for now, and then here save it, and boom. All right, so this is pretty much our form, and now we just gotta add some CSS to make it all fancy, and we technically could do that right now. So let's keep that at the end because this is more focused on React. We'll add all the fanciness later, but pretty much now what I want to do is let's add some state and use some React so that we can actually do some magic on here. So right now, what I want to do is I want to create a custom hook. So essentially, I want to keep all of our state and functions within this component. So I'm going to go ahead and right click the src and create a new file, call this useForm.js. And for custom hooks, you got to start it with use, and then after you can name it whatever. But I mean, you could go to the React docs and look at it in more detail if you'd like. But pretty much in this use form, what we're going to do is we're going to import curly braces use state, and then also use effect from React. And now what I'm going to say is const use form, so that equal to an arrow function. Now in here, let's set up our values. So we have a username, email, and password confirm. So I'm going to say const, then pass in the array, and then our initial values. So I'm going to call this one values. And then the function to update this state. So I'm going to call this set values equal to use state. And then pass in the curly braces, press enter here. And then I'm gonna say username. I'm gonna set that equal to empty string. Then we got the email. And then we have the password. And then the last one was password2. And leave it like that. And then also what I want to do is use stay with our errors as well. So let's go ahead and let's just add the state up, and then we can go back and fill everything in after. So let's just say const errors and then set errors equal to use state, and just set it into an empty object here. And then for now, let's keep it like this. And then what I want to do is whenever I change something, I want this to update the values. So in the input form, we're going to call this a handle change function. So let's just call it const handle change. I'm going to set that equal to E, so short for event, and then set it equal to an arrow function. And then what I want to do is set the values. So now I'm updating the values, and I want the values to be equal to spreading in the values, and then also I want it to be E. So let me actually get rid of this crazy pop-ups. E.target.name, which over to the sign up form, it's targeting the name of each input. So name here, also the name here, password, and then name here would be the second password. And then I'm gonna do the colon, and it should be an actual in brackets, my bad, here, and then colon here, and then I'll set it to e.target.value. Now we can actually make this code much cleaner, so we can destructure and say const curly braces, and I'm gonna say name and then value. I'm gonna set that equal to e.target. So then that means we can get rid of this right here, and then also get rid of it right there. So now I'll go ahead and technically I have to return this as well. So once I return it, let's go ahead and say return the handle change function here. And then also we have to export default useForm. So I'm gonna save this right now. Nothing's gonna happen because we have to go back to our FormSignup. And now what we need to do is actually add this handle change function we just created, which pretty much updates the values. And we need to add that to all of our inputs. So let's go into input here. And under the placeholder, I'm just gonna say, first I'm gonna have the value. I wanna set the value equal to values.username. And then under that, I'm gonna say on change equal to curly braces handle change. And then let's copy these two lines of code, go under here, copy and paste it into the second one, change this one to email, and then just rinse and repeat this for the remaining forms you have. So this one should say password, and then down here, this one will just be password2. So see password2. And now what we need to do is actually import the useForm custom hook into this actual component. So I'm gonna go here and say import useForm from /useForm. And then in here, we have to actually destructure the values from the useForm. So I'm gonna say const curly brace handle change, and then let's do comma values. I'm gonna say that equal to useForm, and let's just keep it blank for now. And right now it's gonna say properties value username of undefined. So we need to go back to actually return this into the useForm hook. So let me add it down here. Let's say values here, and boom. All right, so now let's go ahead and let's just type stuff here for now. So it looks like confirm password isn't set with the password type. So password2 should be just password, not password2 type. So So make sure to type on password 2 is just password. And right now we can type here. All right, perfect. And then let's just add email. Boom, sign up, and it refreshes. So right now what I want to do is I want to actually add the handle submit function now, because you saw what happens when we type everything in. It will pretty much refresh. Let me just do it again for you. It refreshes, so let's prevent default that. So if you've seen forms before, you already know this trick, but pretty much we're going to say const handle submit equal to e, very similar to the handle change, and then let's just say e dot prevent default, and then parentheses, and let's just save that for now. And then let's go back to, actually let's see if we need to return this at the bottom. Yes, we do. So let's do handle submit, and then let me go ahead and let's just save this for now. Go to FormSignup this time, and let's add this onto our form. So let's go up here to form, and let's just say on submit equal to curly braces of handle submit. And then I'm just gonna pass this in here. So let's just say, let's pass it in, comma, handle submit, and let me save this. And now if I type stuff in again, sign up, you can see I click it, no matter what happens, it's not gonna submit because we got the e.prevent default. All right, so now let's go ahead and we need to have a way to show the actual errors. So right now there's nothing in terms of functionality saying whether or not I typed in a proper email or the passwords match, etc. So what I'm gonna do is create another file, src create a new file. Just call this validate capital I info.js here. You can name whatever you want to, but I'm just gonna call it this. And then in here is pretty much going to have all our logic to tell us whether or not whatever values we type in are correct or not. So again, there's our third-party libraries that make your life 10 times easier that you can just plug and play, but I just want to do it the, I guess you can say the harder way, just to show you like what you actually have to do. So let's just say export default function, and let's call this validate info. Then I'm going to pass in as a parameter the values. And then let's just say let errors equal to an empty object here. And now here's our first set of logic. So pretty much say if parentheses and then the exclamation mark and say values.username, and then added .trim so that we can get rid of the white space. And then in here we're basically going to say if errors.username, if this logic right here, essentially if it's not true, then I want to set that equal to showcase the error saying username required. So if I were to just type in a space and nothing's in there, then this should show that the actual username required will pop up. And then under here, I'm going to add another one for email. So let's just say this is email so you can see it. If values.email, it's not true, I want to say errors.email, say equal to email required. And then else if, now I have this crazy code I got off the internet, but pretty much I'm just gonna copy it in, and then you can go to the GitHub if you want to see like exact code. And pretty much it's just regex in short to make it to where, or regex, how you want to say it, to where it validates if it's actual email or not. And I think even right now, it even if we don't have this code, it'll still say like email needs to have an @ but I'll just add this one just so we can have it in our code, because I want it to say right here, curly braces, I want to say errors dot email equals to email address is invalid. So if I were to do anything without like @gmail.com, if I don't include like .com or .whatever, then it should showcase that error. Even like back here on the original one, like if I were to just type in this, it's gonna say email address invalid, right? Even though I inputted something, it's still saying it's there. So if I were to take out this and say it required, so this is saying there is a value. Let me go back. So this line's saying there is some value. If there's no value, then it'll say email required. But then if there's not like the email code, then it's going to say email address is invalid. So this stuff it's pretty self-explanatory, but if you can look into it more, you feel free. And then we should do the same here and say exclamation.value is a password. And then essentially we're going to say same thing with errors.password is equal to password is required. And then else if values.password.length is less than 6. So, I mean, you can do whatever you want for this, but essentially if I type less than 6 characters from a password, it's going to say, please enter 6 or more characters, right? So have you ever seen like, please enter a stronger password on an input field before? This is essentially the same logic here. And then we're just going to say errors.password equal to password needs to be 6 characters or more. And if you're wondering why I have like single quotes or double quotes, when I save it, it automatically formats it for me. And it doesn't really matter at this point. So you can have the both if you're just curious about that. But I have my settings to where it formats it when I save too. Like if I save right now, you can see everything went back to single quotes, just in case anyone's like, whoa, what's happening? And then the last one is just the same thing with the password too, but let's just say if values.password exclamation mark in the front, I'm gonna say 2 curly brace errors.password 2. We're gonna say if there's nothing, we have to say password is required. Then else if, and this is where it doesn't match. So like if you say values.password 2 does not equal values.password, then we have to do the curly braces. Then I want to display the error message that says password 2, say passwords do not match. Now this is just like simple logic that I have for this example. Feel free to refactor this or use a third-party library if you want to make it life easier, but there's just like the common logic here. And then you can go have fun with this and look up more details. And then at the end, we're just going to return the errors. So I'll save this here. And right now, nothing's happening. So let's go ahead and go back to the actual, let's go to sign up. Where is it at? Here. And I want to import this actual function. So let's just go ahead and say import at the top of FormSignup, import validate. I'm just going to call it validate from /validate info. And then what I want to do is add this here to validate. So that's going to set this value of useForm, so validate. And then I'll save it right now. And then what I want to do is go back to useForm. And what I want to do is display these values. So if I were to go into the handle submit, I'm going to say set errors, which we made earlier right here. I want to have the validate function. I want to set the values that we had added, and then if I save it, I need to add errors down here as well. Save that there. And then let's see, one more thing I need to add, saying right now validate is not defined, so I need to pass that in as a parameter here. So let's do validate, save it here. And let's see right now if it showcases anything. So right now it's not showing anything because we need to add the actual code into the sign up form so that it can actually show us. So we go now back to sign up form, and let's just go below the first input for the username. And I'm just gonna say curly braces here. We're gonna say errors.username. And this is a short little trick where you just do double and signs. And it's automatically going to say, like, if errors the username, if that is true, then we're going to return whatever we pass after that. So I'm going to say the p tag. And I want to pass in curly braces errors.username. And I believe if I save this, it's going to say errors is not defined. So let me see if I need to add that up at the top right here into... add it right there next to everything else. We'll save it now, and now it's showcasing. Now if I sign up, boom, it's gonna say username is required. So pretty much what just happened is it's saying error username. We just triggered it from the validate info, and then we're basically showcasing this value right here because I didn't type anything into the actual username field. And if I were to just say like something, now it disappears. So now we can actually take this line of code, copy this here, go under the second input, and then we can change this to email, and then just set this equal to the value for the errors.email we set. Boom, now we have username and email required. And let's add this under the input. And this one's gonna be password. So let me command D so it gets both of them, save us some time. Boom, now password is required. And then the last one will be password 2. So just command D here. All right, I messed up. Let me go back down to password 2. Command D, password 2, save it. And now when we sign up, boom, everything is pretty much showcasing that it is not looking good. And then also if we command B, and let me go to form.css, and technically this, let me see, form sign up. Let's import that actually. And let's do, let me see if I should import that. Yeah, let's just import it at the top of form sign up. So let's say import /form.css, and let's go to so right now this is input, right? And then this is a p tag. So if I can target input, I can actually just target form-input this class name and then say p after it. So I can target here. I can go to form.cs and let's see form-input p. Let's just do color. Let's do red. So now if I sign up, let's see, did I target this properly? I think it should be form inputs. Did I make it right? Let me see. Yeah, actually the label is form label, class name's form input. So my bad, I meant to target the div. So the div, so that should be form inputs. Save that here. And now you can see that it clicks it. Now you can see that we have the little red action going on here. And now let's go ahead and right now, if I were to actually type in, let's see here. If I type in that, it's gonna say the @ sign. So this automatically default. Let's do gmail.whatever.com. Save there, and then password is 1, 1, 2, 3. It should say password need more than 6 characters. So let's say here, password do not match. So perfect there. And then right now, when we hit submit, sign up, nothing is happening. So let's go ahead and let's add that last part here. So let's go to use form. Now underneath the handle submit, we need to create some state first. So let's go under here. Let's do under errors, and let's just say const, and then the brackets. Let's just call this is submitting, and then let's just say set is submitting equal to use state of. I want it to be false because obviously it's not submitted yet. And then under here, I want to say once we submit, I want to set is submitting to true. And then if I save this right now, let's see. I like this. Just type everything in. Sign up. Right now, nothing is happening. So pretty much what I want to do is actually implement a function so that we can actually see this happening. So on the actual form, let's go to form now, the form component. I want to, well, first off, let's import, actually, let's keep it for now like this. Let's import the sex stuff after, but basically what I want to say is const, and then the brackets. I want to pass back in is submitted, comma, set is submitted equal to use state of false. And then here's a function. So pretty much this is the function that's going to set is submitted to true. So let's say function submit form. Then I'm going to say set is submitted to true. And then I'll save this here. And I was going to say use state is not defined. So we have to add use state here. Use state. And then we need to go back to the form sign up, and we have to destructure this and pass in that function. So submit form here. And I also want to pass in useForm as the actual submit form, comma, and the useForm value. So save that here. And what I'm doing is pretty much this, we're going to create some code here to where whenever, basically if I write it out here, just set it under here. So I have curly brace here. We're going to say if it's not submitted, if that's true, then I want to display essentially form sign up, and then I'm gonna pass in submit form equal to submit form. And make sure I close this out properly here. And then else, if I do actually have the form submitted, then I want to pass in form success. So it looks like let's see, must have added a parenthesis in the wrong, let's see. So let's take submit form equals, let's see, dot is submitted, question mark, parenthesis. Let's add these on separate lines so I can see. Okay, here it is. Here, and then this one shouldn't be there. All right, okay. Now I was gonna say form success not defined, so I have to actually import that. So let's just go ahead and I'm gonna do Alt Shift down. And we technically haven't added anything into form success yet, but let's just import it for now, and then let's go back to it. Success, and then from form success, let me save this here. And then let's get rid of this top form sign up so it's much cleaner. And pretty much let's go now to form success component. Now this is pretty much the little thing where it says like, hey, we submitted the actual form. So now let's go ahead and let's do RFACE, press tab, and then let's just add in some simple JSX in here. So let's just say, get rid of this, and let's see dot form dash content dash right. Inside here, let's see form dash success, and let's just say we have received your request. And then let's do the image. And if you don't have the image, let's actually yeah, let me just add this for now. Image dot form dash img2. Let's press tab here. The src is going to be image slash image dash 3.svg, and let's just call this success image. And we don't have this actually imported, so we're actually gonna go. Let's go to like GitHub in the bio, and then you can access all of the files there. So here I am on GitHub, and pretty much you can just download this, go here and just download the zip, and then you can basically drag in the public folder. And if you don't have to do that, you can actually just drag in the images there, so that way you don't have to like bring in everything. But that's pretty much what I'm gonna do. So I'm pretty much gonna go to my file, and let's just drag in this image folder, and there's a couple images in here so you can like play around with them, but let's just copy the folder there. So now if I go to public, I have this image thing here, so I'm gonna save it. And right now if I go to let's go to form, let's comment this stuff out, and let's just see if my form success is actually showing everything. So perfect, we got the little man in right here, astronaut, and the little text here. So let's cancel this out, and actually, yeah, let's just Command Z this. And since we're here, we might as well just copy my CSS. So I'm gonna go to my GitHub, because it looks nothing like what we have here. I'm just gonna save you some time. Just go to form.css from the src, go to raw here, Command A, Command C, and then go to form CSS, and then I can get rid of this because I already have it. Save it and just add all this code here. If you want to see the CSS and read it, feel free, but since this is more on React, I don't want to waste like 30 minutes just going through CSS. And then also app.css, I'm just going to copy this in too. And let's see, it's being slow right now, but once it's finished, let me see if I can click it again. All right, yeah. Let me just copy this into app.css. So get rid of all this. So Command A, backspace, then Command V, save it here. And we pretty much should be, let's see. Looks like I must have messed something up on the, let's see, form. Oh yeah, the form also is missing a lot of text on the top too. So let's actually import that too here. So let's do input / form.css. And then I wanted to actually showcase some stuff on the top because we have to have this in order for the form to make any sense. So in the return, let's just add some fragments. So here, and then let's add at the bottom too. But on the top one, I want to say, let's get rid of these divs first. And then what I want to say is .form-container, press tab. And that's pretty much going to bring everything in there. So let's do span.close-btn. Let's put an X here for now. Under the span, I want to do .form content-left. And then inside this, I want to do image.form-img. src is image/img-2.svg. And then alt, let's just do spaceship. And then underneath this form content left div, I want to press enter. Then I want to add in this code here. So command X. And then when I go back here, save it now. Now we have our beautiful looking form. All right, so now when we hit sign up, it's literally submitting a request because there's nothing telling it that it's not. So let's go back and let's fix that code now. So let's go to on useForm. So I'm gonna go down under the handle submit, and then pretty much we're gonna use useEffect, and it's essentially going to display the errors if there are any, and then if there isn't, it's going to allow us to submit. So I'm gonna say use effect, and then parentheses, and I pass in the arrow function here, and then curly braces here, and I'm basically gonna say if, and then we're gonna say object.keys, and we're looking at the errors, and outside the parentheses of errors, we're gonna say dot length. If it's equal to 0, meaning there's 0 errors, then we're gonna basically return is submitting, and then the curly brace here, and then after that we're gonna run the callback function. So I'm gonna say call back parentheses here, and then if I were to save this right now, it's gonna say callback is not defined, so we have to pass this in at the top. Say call back comma, and then validate, and then let's save this here. And now if I were to try to submit this now, also I forgot we have to actually add in right here in the useEffect dependency, so array brackets, and I only wanted to trigger when it's updates the errors. So here now we can go and then go back, and now if I hit sign up, it's going to say username, password, everything's required. So let's actually try to submit something really quick. And then sign up, and boom, it's currently submitting our request. So right now here, actually, I can just do a little refactor the validate info. This should say, no, actually, form sign up. This should say, where is it at? On the second placeholder, should just see enter your password. Save that there, and then now we should be good here. Perfect. All right, so let's just try to make some errors. So sign up, it's not gonna work. Okay, so let's just put a number here. Email, there's no .com and it's invalid. Password, let's do a short password. Needs to be 6. Password do not match. And boom. All right, so now it looks like everything's working for now. So this is super, I'd say, basic way to set up React form validation. But obviously you'd have to implement backend and do a lot more complicated code. But definitely this is like a starter basic template. So this pretty much ends it here. So if you did enjoy this video, to go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. I'm pretty much just documenting myself, learning code, building projects, and then just sharing with you what I've built. So if you want to follow me along that journey, then definitely hit that subscribe button. And aside from that, I will see you in the next video. Peace.